All right. And we are live on Amazon and a couple of other places. And as you can see, it's Peertainment with the author, Matt Rouse. And my phone's making noise, so I'm turning it silent. So with that, we'll get this off there so you can see Matt's smiling face. Matt, welcome to Amazon Live and the other places that we're broadcasting. Uh,
Thanks,
let's just
Scott.
let's just jump into it because we've
Sure.
done a lot of stuff together over a number of years,
hmm
which was all interesting how that happened. But you had already been an author, and then we were able to co-author a book together with Holly Jean Jackson, which is in the carousel. But today we're going to be really focusing on this new book, which released last night. I got the like 9:03 p.m. My
Nice.
pre-order of Peertainment came through to my Kindle, and so I was able to leaf through a little bit this morning, and I'm excited to talk about that. But let's start off with an introduction of Matt Rouse.
Sure. So I'm Matt Rouse. Peertainment is my sixth book. My books focus primarily on entrepreneurs and small business owners, and you're kind of solopreneur as well. And I run two digital marketing agencies, one called Hook Digital Marketing in the United States and another called Hook Digital Marketing Canada. And we have about 100 clients worldwide. I would say 65% of those are in the United States, about 30% in Canada, the rest are elsewhere. And my business partner, Scott Burson, is in sometimes in the US and sometimes in Costa Rica. And I'm currently residing in Nova Scotia, though I do go back to the US frequently. And I also run the Digital Marketing Masters podcast, which is about to go on to season 5. And I think something that is of interest, to your average kind of business owner is that in my agency we consider ourselves operators. And as an operator, I don't mean like a telephone operator. I know that used to be a thing. Probably most people under 20 don't know what a telephone operator is. But an operator, as in we're in the trenches doing the work.
Mm-hmm.
So we get in, we get our hands dirty, we do the work, we're doing the testing, we're looking at the results, and we're talking to the owners of those businesses and saying, is this getting your phone ringing? Are the sales coming in? Right? When we did this, this worked. When we did this didn't work. And in doing that, we can see very quickly when things start to change. And over the last year, things have really started to change. So that was kind of why the book came up.
Yeah, it's interesting. So let's just start with the name Peertainment.
Yeah.
What is that? I mean, it's catchy, it's new, and how many E's are in Peertainment?
That's
Anyway.
right. Just two. So, peertainment, I came up with the word peertainment because there was not a word to describe the type of media that people are moving to.
Mm-hmm.
And I say moving to, but what I really mean is they have already moved to. And
Right.
very similar to, when Uber comes to town and you're a taxi driver, bad things happen, right? But it doesn't mean that there aren't taxis anymore, right? You can still call a taxi in every city in the United States, pretty much, right? But they're not being used as frequently as they were used before. And that's what's happened with media, right? Your kind of image and text based media, that could be your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc., right? They are
Mm-hmm.
still used. They're still there. They still have the metric, monthly active users is what people quote all the time. And yeah, there's more monthly active users this month than there was last month on Facebook, right? And there's more
Sure.
this year than there was last year. But
Mm-hmm.
people are not using that platform for as long a period of time as they used to.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go by that metric, then the old platforms are losing ground really, really quickly.
We can see in one of the easy comparisons to make is between broadcast television and all the streaming options, cable channels that are
Mhm.
available out there, streaming video and your phone and so forth. But back when MASH, which was a wildly popular television show, had its final episode, they had 100 million viewers. And
Right,
you
it's
think,
crazy.
obviously there's more people uh, in the country today, more people in the world. We just last fall we topped 8 billion people on the planet. So obviously there are more eyeballs out there. But when Game of Thrones had their final episode, they were wildly successful as well and had 20 million
Right.
viewers. So a fifth of the viewership, but it was considered popular just because there's so much more competition
Hmm.
today
That's
for
because media
those eyeballs.
fractured, right?
Yes, good term.
And when media fractured, what you ended up with was people could find specifically what was for them,
Hmm.
right? And that choice actually quickly turned into, I guess, what I would call the illusion of choice, right? The illusion of choice is that there's lots of options out there, but nowadays there is a system that is selecting those options for you. So you used to go to Blockbuster and walk around for 2.5 hours trying to pick one movie, right?
Right.
And you go read the back of the box and do all the
Hmm.
things that people used to do. Now
Store
you go on,
recommendations,
right?
manager's choice.
You go on Netflix or, Disney or Google or Paramount or whatever it is, right? And you open it up and there's 50 choices, right?
Hmm.
Instead of the 1,000 that there were at the
Yep.
Blockbuster. And that's because it's used your watch history to give you those options. And somewhere like YouTube, well, they're looking at all of your data, your search data, other information they have about you. I won't get into how much data Google has on everyone that there is, right? Because that's been beaten to death between the
Sure.
Facebooks and the Googles for a while now, right? We know
Hmm.
they have the data, but they also have your watch history data. And they use an AI system that will take all of that data and analyze it. And they will compare what you're watching to videos that are similar in topic, videos similar in structure, other people demographically similar to you. What are they watching? What's the
Hmm.
video? What's in common between those videos and the other ones that you've watched? And then there's things like frequency and, how long has it been since that was out, which is called time decay. So there's all these things out there that it makes a decision and says, we're going to suggest that these are videos that are going to keep your attention,
Hmm.
right? They may not be the video that you are most interested in. They are the videos that they believe will keep you on the platform the longest.
Hmm.
And that is not the same thing.
That's interesting. And so let's go back to the book Peertainment with
Mm-hmm.
and we'll talk in a moment. I'll talk about the forward because you had the forward written by Chat GPT,
I did.
which I think was just fascinating, and we can talk about that in a moment. But uh, who should be reading Peertainment? Who is this book written for and to?
If you want to be a content creator on the modern internet, you should read this book. But also, if you have a business and you want to stay relevant in a
Hmm.
2023, 2024 world,
Yeah.
you should probably read this book. I think there's basically two problems that this book solves. If you drum the whole thing down to its core, there are two problems that they solve. Number one is nobody is looking at your social media anymore, barely looking at your social media ads anymore,
Hmm.
and nobody's reading your blog, right? So all these ways that people used to use
Hmm.
to get the word out, as they say, right? They're
Yeah.
either completely ineffective or they are getting to the point of being ineffective, right? So that's
Yep.
problem number one. How do you promote your business when all the channels that you were using to promote your business are going away? Number two is that AI is here. The genie's out of the bottle. We could discuss morality of AI and whether the world should try and stop progress of AI and all those things till we're blue in the face, but it doesn't
Good
matter
luck. Good luck.
because the genie's already out of the bottle. It's already too late, right?
Toothpaste is out of the tube.
The toothpaste is out of the tube. You can't put it back in. You could try to squeeze a little bit back in, but
good luck.
you're just never going to get it.
It's not
So, the other thing is, what do we do about the AI problem? And the AI problem is a big problem. Number one, it could take away industries entirely that are completely replaced by AI and automation. It could take jobs of the people who are in those industries. Maybe problems that you solve for companies can now just be solved by an AI, right? And then there's also competitors using AI to outperform you, whether that's in marketing or sales or whatever it is. So these are the two problems I solve. Number one is, where did everybody's attention go and how do you get it? Problem number two is, how do I partner with AI so that I get the advantage of AI instead of AI or, competitors using AI against me?
Yep. This is just an interesting thing because I think back to other industries. So back in the 70s, when supermarkets were becoming the big thing,
Right.
and that you didn't go to the baker and then the butcher and then the greengrocer and so forth. You just went to one place. That was going to be the end of the mom and pop store. And yet there are more convenience stores at gas stations and corners than there ever were mom and pops. So supermarkets obviously did not kill the mom and pop stores, the small local
That's right.
stores.
Just because the grocery store came along doesn't mean that there isn't bakeries anymore.
That's right. And then video, right? Now you can buy, you can go out with your Visa card, whatever, right here on Amazon. You can buy professional quality video and audio equipment,
Right.
and make your own videos. Obviously, that hasn't stopped the major studios from continuing to produce movies. Handheld devices, all of our phones stream video now, and it has not killed the theaters.
Right.
COVID tried to, but they're still coming back. We still go to the big screen. So I don't think that we're looking at the end of something. I think we're looking at the beginning and diversification of something.
There are very few technological epochs in the history of mankind, right? And we don't say like, well, 1860 was the Industrial Revolution or something, right? It's always a kind of a rough time period.
Sure.
But you can say like the end of the 90s was the beginning of like home computing. Right?
Sure.
That's when people generally started to have computers in their home, kind of thing. End of the 90s, early 2000s, that's internet, right? And then your layer 2 internet's like 2008, that kind of thing, right? Well, they're going to look back, all of us are going to look back and say, after the pandemic is when AI hit, right?
Yep, that's the
And
turning point.
that's the point.
That's the dog-eared corner on the book. Yep.
Now, you've heard me say this because I've said this on a video that actually I was editing a while back of a video that we did together, and I said this quote on that video, and it's one of my favorite quotes. And it's that technology isn't in the future, it's just not evenly distributed, right? So, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of paraphrasing it a bit, but what it means is that the average person doesn't have access to a powerful AI right now because they don't know about it. They don't know how to use it. They don't know that they could have access to this thing. And even if they did, they wouldn't know what they would do with it. Right? However, that doesn't mean that I'm not using it on a daily basis to give my company and my clients an edge over other competitors. And if you think that it makes no difference to your industry, then you can look at the results of the companies that I work with compared to their competition. And they're starting to scale more quickly. They are, even industries that took a huge hit, kind of end of pandemic, post pandemic, are starting to come back now because we found an advantage. And there's two things, okay? The partnering with AI is one of them, and we can talk more about AI. I love talking about AI. I've seen stuff that will make your hair stand on end with AI, right? But the other thing is PEERTAINMENT, and a PEERTAINMENT network is kind of a very loose term. And the reason for it is some networks are not specifically one thing, okay? So, like, I would classify TikTok as a PEERTAINMENT network. It is peer-generated entertainment that, in many cases, is kind of like studio quality without the studio, right? It's made by creators. It's not made by big, large companies, right? I mean, there is stuff on it that is, but I mean, like I said, this is kind of loose terminology here, right? And I'll get to what makes them stand apart, right? YouTube, Patreon, TikTok, this right here, Amazon Live, I would consider this a PEERTAINMENT network. Our peers are creating the entertainment for us. And creators like yourself, right, are not influencers, okay? I don't classify them as the same thing. An influencer has influence because they are famous. A creator creates because they love what they're doing.
Sure.
Okay. And that doesn't mean that an influencer can't be a creator, right? But, a creator who has 50 followers and is making their 100th video is different than an influencer who is famous because they wear a bikini, right? These are different types of people doing this. I also think that reels on, Instagram and Facebook are PEERTAINMENT, but I think the traditional feed is not. So in those cases, like, part of those apps are PEERTAINMENT, part of them are not. Your podcast app is a PEERTAINMENT app, right? That's a PEERTAINMENT network. And the reason I say that is because there is a different system by which they determine if other people are going to see what you've produced or not. Everybody understands it. Twitter, Facebook, all these places, it was how many times somebody clicked the like button, how many times somebody shared it, right? If they commented, if you commented back when they commented, right? These are traditional feed-based systems, and they are based on engagement. PEERTAINMENT networks are based on three things: audience retention, watch time, session time. Okay? And I'll explain what each of those are. Audience retention.
Let me just
go ahead.
and we'll just throw this up for a moment and remind everybody we are live on Amazon talking with Matt Rouse. He is just released today, just dropped last night, is his new book, PEERTAINMENT. He's also written Start Saying Yes, How We've Always Done It, Flattening the Hamster Wheel. I was fortunate to write a joint book with him, Isolation, the Health and Wellness Business Crusher, or Killer, and then Crush SEO. So we are honored to have Matt talking about PEERTAINMENT here with all the other books that you've written as well. I will say, in a way, have led up to this. So you are an expert in SEO, and I have seen it happen. I have seen you be able to take YouTube content and move it up the chain from unknown to well-known. And we'll stay away from the viral term, but I'll just say being able to manage this, how you've been able to work with businesses to direct traffic. So you're definitely immersed in this, and I've seen this in your writing and in your career and in the business as you've moved toward this, that really has now come to this moment of PEERTAINMENT. And the subtitle of this, and I'll put it back up here so people can see, it is "The Golden Age of Social Media is Over." And so we used to think, oh, how many followers do I have? How many
Mm-hmm.
likes did I get? What kind of this engagement? So let's go back to those three things again.
Sure. And it's interesting because you were talking earlier about television, right? Like when MASH was on TV and Game of Thrones and stuff, right? And that was the golden age of television, right? Up until, probably pre-pandemic time was the golden age of television. And now, right? Those days are gone, and the the golden age of television got fragmented, and now the golden age of social media is over because social media is fragmented, right? It used to be Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, right? And there wasn't much else when it came to using social media apps. There was some other ones, of course, Snapchat and stuff. But when it comes to PEERTAINMENT networks, generally speaking, we're talking about video. It could be podcasting, but mostly it's video. So they use three things, right? Number one is audience retention. And audience retention is how long does somebody watch my content for, right? So if you have a video and people watch half of it on average, you have a 50% audience retention. So what you're trying to do is get as much audience retention as possible, right? This is the modern version of engagement. Number two is watch time. How long did they watch your content for? And watch time is what the platforms are after. How long can they keep somebody on the platform? Because the longer you're on the platform watching videos or whatever it is, the longer you're on the platform, the more ads they can show you. So watch time is important because that advertising is how they make their money. And the last one is session time. Did somebody watch your video and leave? Or did they watch your video and then watch another piece of content of yours, right? Or they went and watched a couple other videos and came back and watched another one of yours. This is session time. So did they watch the whole thing that you put out? How long did they watch it for? And did they watch something else of yours? Those are the three things that you need to have. And those three things are what leads to getting distribution on those platforms. Yeah. Scott, I think you may have dropped off. I don't know if we're still going. It looks like we're still streaming. So I will keep talking. So anyway, when it comes to media distribution, what's going to happen when you have a platform, and let's stick with YouTube because it's kind of what people know, right? But this does work for other platforms. I mean, the same thing works for TikTok as Reels or YouTube Shorts or, whatever it is. You need to create content that creates a win for everyone who's involved. And a lot of people say, well, you got to make a win-win. Well, in this case, it's 4 wins, okay? It's a win-win-win-win-win. Sorry, that's 5. Win-win-win-win. So it's got to be a win for you, for your business, because if it's unrelated to your business, it's not going to do anything for you, then there's no point doing it. And number 2, it's got to be a win for the audience, or they're not going to watch it. If they don't watch it, you don't get any audience time, you don't get any watch time, you don't get any session time, nobody's going to distribute it. If it keeps people on the platform longer, that's a win for the platform. That's your third win, right? So you have to align with the goal of the platform. And win number 4 is has to be a win for the advertiser. If the advertisers put their ads on during your content, that eventually leads to them making money. They will keep advertising. So if you need to align yourself with the AI, which is what controls that system. And there's more than one AI, especially when it comes to YouTube. But just remember, keep in mind what the goals are, right? So you have to keep that audience person engaged so that they'll watch as much of your content as they can. And then the longer your content is and the longer they watch, the more watch time you get. However, that could be short content watched a lot of times by a lot of people, or could be longer content watched by fewer people. Watch time, though, is still a factor. And then, can you encourage them to watch something else? You know, usually you'll see that with the suggested video. There's like a box at the end, and they'll have a suggested video. And that video is so that, you know, those people can see what happened. Oh, Scott messaged me that his internet went out. Well, I think we're still streaming, so hopefully it's working. I'm going to send him a quick message and just say, I'm still talking on the live broadcast. All right. So how do you do that? And that's something I cover in detail in the book. There's a formula in there that you can use to structure your content and structure your videos. I don't talk about equipment. That's something you can find a video for and go watch. But I think it comes down to... Oh, there's Scott again. Looks like he's got cables everywhere. There we go. He's back. Okay, so when it comes to creating your content... Oh, now I'm getting an echo, Scott.
All right, hold on.
It's all right.
Yeah, so I'm going to mute myself. So the internet at home went out, and so I am actually on my phone because you do what we can.
Okay,
So
it's working.
I'm just going to let you continue, and I'll stay off camera until this other system comes up and continue to talk.
That's right. The show must go on, as they say. So anyway, when you're creating content for a PEERTAINMENT network, and you're trying to keep those three things in mind, and that is, again, that's your audience retention, your watch time, your session time, you're gonna find it probably counterintuitive to how tightly your content needs to be edited. We have tested things, long videos, short videos, well shot on a phone, you know, like you name it, auto-generated videos, captions, every possible way you can mess around with content to make it. And it turns out that the quality of the content does matter, but it doesn't matter I mean the actual like quality of shooting it. It does matter, but it doesn't matter as much as people think it does. You can have the most well shot video in the world, but if the pacing is off, if it's not the right content for the audience, if the story is not set up to kind of carry them through to the next thing, then that video is not going to get distributed. And the reason it's not going to get distributed is people are going to watch it until they get bored. They're going to drop off. Your audience retention goes down the toilet. And when your audience retention falls off, the platform says people don't want to watch this, and it doesn't show it to anybody. So you're going to need, like if I was taking this video right now, I would edit out any of the times I say or ah, any long pauses. Often we'll use things like J-cuts. It's just something you can look up on YouTube, where you actually cut the audio to start the next bit of audio before the other one is finished. You kind of overlay audio. There's all kinds of editing tricks you can learn. I would cut that out too. But this doesn't just go for videos, right? I went back and I looked at all of our statistics on our podcast for 4 seasons, 230 episodes or something like that we did. And it wasn't how long the episode was. It was kind of how quick and punchy and like how much quick back and forth there was with the guest. Anytime that a guest was maybe far away or there wasn't good internet or something, so there was a lot of pauses in it and we didn't get all those edited out, the show would get way less listens than the other shows did. And anytime that we had kind of maybe a long spiel at the beginning before we really got into what we were talking about, people would get bored. They would skip ahead, things like that. And those were signals saying, we don't have good retention for this episode. And those platforms would not show those to as many people. And you think when you subscribe to something that you're just going to see all of their stuff, but that is completely not the case, right? I don't follow almost anyone on TikTok, but I see the same creators and the same type of content over and over as if I was subscribed to them, because that system knows that I watch those videos all the way through and sometimes more than once, right? So I have really high audience retention. And because I watch, a bunch of their stuff, then I have both good session time and I have good watch time, which keeps me on the platform longer when I see things that I like and then I'm going to watch longer. So it gives those creators distribution and it shares their stuff and it shows it to me because it knows it's going to keep me on the platform longer. And that's how distribution works. And now there is another trick. And this isn't so much of a trick as it is kind of this amazing feature that a lot of people, especially in the business world, don't understand. And they think that creators get paid to create content on the platform, which is true. But you could be a business and you could get paid to be on the platform. You could get paid to make TikTok videos or YouTube videos, just like any other creator can, right? And that way you could actually promote your business, grow your audience, get distribution, increase your SEO, all of the things that you want to do for your business, and you could get paid to do it at the same time.
I love it. Thanks for keeping the show going.
No problem.
For some reason, the home internet went offline.
Happens.
And fortunately, I was able to use the cell to send you a message to get back into StreamYard, to jump back in, and then reboot everything here and back online. So
that's right. I figured you were coming back.
World of technology. So
right.
yeah, absolutely. I love this thing about creation. So who creates? And so this is a valuable question. And as we were talking about, I was going through some of the other books that you've written, and to see this change, right? So what's that algorithm change, right? Because this is what's kept things going in the business, right? This
That's
is
right.
this change.
This is a new algorithm, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I still see it every single day, and I'm sure you see it also. You go on LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll see 10, 50, however many posts of people talking about how do you get more engagement on Facebook. Engagement is what you need. Get more engagement. Get more engagement. Get more engagement. And you know what? Engagement isn't the metric anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I don't know how many, like, I see other videos of other people who've sort of figured this model out, as well as myself. And, they're calling, like older or other marketing people giving older advice. They're calling them like charlatans and stuff, right? And I'm like, that's not true, right? I'm sure that they believe that getting more engagement works. And you know what? Getting more engagement on a platform like Facebook, for sure that will work, right?
Sure.
But how are you going to get it? Because they're not giving you any distribution. They're not letting you reach any new people, right? Unless somebody's intentionally sharing it to people and those people are going out of their way to follow you. And then it's a miracle if they see the next thing you post anyway, because the engagement on business pages and don't fool yourself thinking that because you posted on your account instead of on your business page or something that it's going to trick the system, right? It
Mhm.
knows what a business post looks like,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
But you go to, your Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, TikTok, Shorts, right? These kind of vertical video type platforms. All they have is reach. Every day you see somebody post a video and they're like, I got 10,000 views in 2 days.
Mhm.
I posted a short for a client, let me see, not even an hour ago, and it's already been seen 147 times, right? Try doing that on Facebook from your business page.
Mhm.
Yeah. And try doing it when you have 74 followers, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Try to have more people than you have followers see your thing on Facebook and Instagram or Twitter, right?
Mhm.
I'll wait. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to wait. But go try it. It's impossible, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's really interesting because, I've seen some changes, huge changes over the last few years in the Twitter world. And this is all separate from the management ownership stuff.
Yeah.
It's the,
What
it's
is
the,
even
it's
going
the
on over
algorithm.
there?
It's the algorithms have changed, where you're going. So on my Twitter platform, and Twitter historically was my favorite platform because it wasn't about pictures of food. It was about communication. And
Right.
I met a lot of great people and set up a lot of business meetings through Twitter and Twitter chats where people would come together and talk about a topic of interest. That's where I grew my following on the platform, and it's right around 6,000 people. And these are 6,000 people that I connected with through interaction with them. So you
Right.
would think, wow, if I post something on there, it's going to get some reach, right? Reach those individuals that at least follow me. And I post something and it's like 6.
Right. Well, and you can see, and just using Elon Musk's account as a perfect example, they artificially increased his reach on the platform. Where do you think that reach comes from when they artificially increase the reach of one person
Mm.
so that it reaches millions of accounts?
Mm-hmm.
What are those millions of accounts not seeing? It's
Right.
stuff from people they followed, right?
Yep.
And look, I got a chapter in my book
Yeah.
that is called Why Are We Leaving? And that's a perfect example of why we're leaving social media, right? Traditional social media.
Right.
And I'll tell you a story. I got business owner, right? Great gal. She lives down southern US, right? Her friend went and got a pedicure or something. She made a joke about like how, maybe she should be paying her, to be a foot model or something like that. She got her account suspended on Facebook because the algorithm had decided that they were thinking that she was trying to sell foot fetish or something, right? It
Oh.
was like some kind of, for not being allowed to be a sex
Mhm.
worker on the platform or something, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Which then suspended her business account. Her business account ran her advertising, and she lost thousands and thousands of dollars.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
I had another guy. He was, sold like confectionery stuff.
Mhm.
Super legit business, no problems whatsoever. Never had a problem in the past. His account gets suspended. It takes us months to get his account turned on again. In the end, he had an employee who wasn't even technically an employee. It was a contractor that he was using to post some things on his social media for him, who didn't even have access to his ad account. They had turned off their two-factor authentication. That's what suspended his account. But Facebook refused to tell us why they had suspended his account. And when we found that out, got her to turn it on, it came up again the next day. And we told them that's what happened. They said, well, I don't think that's what did it, but who knows, I guess, right? And he was like, no, I want you to tell me what happened, right? I have to know. And eventually they said, if you don't want your ad account banned again, you should probably stop asking about it. Like they were like almost threatening, you know. And like this is, and you wonder why
Oh man.
everybody left,
Yeah.
right? Like
Hmm.
why did TikTok come out and everybody's suddenly like, oh, I'm gonna get on TikTok, you know,
Yeah.
when it was, I mean, it was originally a teenage girls lip syncing platform,
Hmm.
you know. Um, but then YouTube started out as a dating site for video dating, right? So it's not where you come from, right? It's where you get to.
Yeah, it's I forget. Flickr was a game, I think,
Hmm.
instead of a photo sharing site, storage site.
Yeah, there's all
So
kinds of stuff like that.
yeah, things change and iterate. So Peertainment, this is the book we're talking about, and the world has changed. The world of social media, the golden age of social media is over. Peertainment is here, and if you are a business that wants to get seen, you have to master this. This is not optional, I'll say, in today's business world. You need to understand what it
Mhm.
means. And let's go back again to the three uh, items again that you want to measure.
Right. So what decides if your content gets distributed on a Peertainment network is audience retention, which is how long they stay on that piece of content for, watch time, which is the total amount of everyone watching what you've created,
Mm-hmm.
and session time, which is how long do those people stay on the platform, like how many of your videos or how many podcasts they listen to, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That has replaced the old kind of KPIs of social media, which were engagement, right? Likes, shares, comments.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it used to be. That's not it anymore, right?
Yeah.
How can you get someone to stay on the platform longer? And if they do leave, how do you get them to come back?
Mm-hmm.
That's what they care about, because that's how they generate ad revenue, right? By keeping
Sure.
people on the platform longer, they can show more ads.
Sure, absolutely, yeah. So the algorithms are there. It's a type of artificial intelligence, and
Mm-hmm.
no matter what Italy tries to do, you're not going to stop AI from functioning out there.
That's right.
Anyone who does a search on a search engine is taking advantage of artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
When the ads that are appropriate for you, and people say, well, maybe I don't want ads tracked. You're going to get ads. Ads are going to be delivered. And, if you're like me, a single nester with my wife and I don't need to see ads for baby cribs
Right.
or diapers. So they're going to tailor ads that are more toward me, and that's fine. I'm going to get the ads, so I'd rather see things that are at least relevant. Uh,
And if you turn off ad customization, you still get custom ads.
yeah.
I don't know if people know that. You just get worse ones, right? So they're still they're just
Mhm.
not using your personal data, but they're using your public data, which is like
Sure.
your IP address, location, things like that are
Mhm.
still used to serve ads to you. Because you want to test it, turn off your ad customization in any platform,
Mhm.
and then ask yourself how come you're not getting ads in Japanese or Turkish
Mm.
or
Interesting. Good. Yeah.
because
Very good.
otherwise
Very good.
they have to use your location data. Otherwise, they wouldn't know what language to put it in. Or
Yeah.
it could be, like how come you're still getting ads for, you might get ads that are video game ads and you're not really a gamer, right? And that
Mhm.
makes sense because they're not using your personal preference data. But I think, like I was saying, and I was saying this earlier, when you had your internet go out there for a second,
Yeah.
is that your content has to be a win for yourself, right? For the business.
Mhm.
It's got to be a win for the audience, or they're not going to watch it. It's got to be a win for the platform, which means you need to align, like partner yourself with that AI for the platform. And it's got to be a win for the advertiser. And because you can make content all day long that the audience loves, but if they can't run ads against it, they're not going to keep showing it to people.
Mhm. So if people buy Peertainment and read it, because you have to do both, buy Peertainment. It's in the carousel, highlighted in the carousel, and they read it. are they going to find a way to win?
Yes.
They're going to find a way to make the right kind of content.
Not only are you going to find a way to make the right kind of content, the book is structured in the way that the content should be created.
Okay.
It
And do I have to
immediately
dance?
leads with the best part. You don't
Do I
have
have
to
to
do any
dance?
dances
I
unless
don't have to
dancing is
dance.
part of your business.
No, dancing is not part of my business. I was
And
thinking
remember, right? This is something people get this wrong all the time in the marketing world, and this is not a PEERTAINMENT problem. This is just a misunderstanding of marketing.
Mhm.
You don't look at Apple having, ads with people dancing around with their earbuds in, and then go make ads of people dancing around and think they're going to come to your lumber business, right? It's just not how it works. And you see,
right.
like, well, Walmart and McDonald's are making people doing viral, dances, so I should do a viral dance too. Well, that's not relevant, right?
Mhm.
So if your goal is to have as many people see your brand as possible, like McDonald's, then go ahead, right? Do as many dances as you want, right? Have somebody skydive from outer space, right?
Mhm.
Like they're trying to get as many eyeballs on their brand as possible.
Yeah.
But that's not your goal if you're a small business.
Right.
It's not to yell as loudly as you can to as many people as you can. It's to whisper to the people who care.
Mm. That's a good phrase right there. Whisper to the people who care.
That's right.
And I like that, Matt. I think I'm not going to hire a CPA. I mean, it's tax season here in the United States, so a lot of people are doing their taxes, personal business taxes. I really don't care to hire somebody as my accountant because I saw them dancing on any one of the number of platforms out there.
You may actually be doing damage to your brand by doing that. And, and the other thing is that they have this very skewed viewpoint of the technology that they're using, generally speaking. And this kind of comes back to something you and I had talked about completely offline, was that people have a different perception of time as they age, right?
Sure.
So
Absolutely.
TikTok to you has been around, it's been around for a few years, and, it's a bunch of people. Maybe it's not just all kids dancing anymore, but it's kind of, still kind of that thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a completely different platform to someone who is 24, trying to look at, saving up to buy their first home, and TikTok has been around since they were in grade school,
Sure.
and it's all they use, right? Or I saw a senator, I should have wrote his name down now, but living in Canada, I don't hear the names of a lot of U.S. senators anymore. But he said he's got like 740,000 constituents. He makes a video, he puts it on every single platform. He said 200,000 or 300,000 of them see it on TikTok, and that's more than all the other ones combined.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's his constituents. That's like regular, everyday people who live where, where this guy
And this
lives.
video is not him dancing, I'm gathering.
No, he's just talking about like what happened in Congress or whatever, right? And YouTube Shorts, which people all the time say, well, I'm on Facebook and Instagram, and what they mean is the image and text part of Facebook and Instagram. And I need to get on TikTok, so I got to make some videos. But they forget about YouTube Shorts. YouTube Shorts has the same amount of downloads as TikTok, roughly.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
I mean, give or take 500 million, but when you're at 30 billion a month, 500 million is not that big of a deal, right?
Sure.
So we're talking like hundreds of billions of views. Your audience exists on YouTube Shorts or YouTube. Your audience exists on TikTok. Your audience exists on Reels or on Facebook Reels. They are there, right? What you need to do is figure out, what is it that you have that they want? What is in your brain or your heart or whatever it is? What is the story that you have to tell that they want to hear? And that's the difficult creative work. And you can't have ChatGPT do that for you. Right?
Yeah, the AI is not going to is only going to work on the prompts. And
well, I'll tell you what, it can help you learn
Mhm.
those things. Like, good Lord, I had an idea the other day for, like a marketing email. And I said, okay, well, I want to talk about this and this. And I don't know, that's a bit short. There's a couple other things. Maybe I'll, you know what? So I just typed in, this is what I have so far. Can you expand on this for me? It is a marketing email for a company called such and such, yada, yada, yada.
Mm.
I ran it through GPT-4. A minute and a half later, I've got the whole thing. I go back, I edit it, put it in the words of the client, you
Mhm.
know, off we go, right? And, I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not asking it to write my essay. I'm saying, here's 2 points. I'm trying to come up with 3. Give me one
Mhm.
more idea, right?
Right.
You can have it come up with ideas for you. I think, and this is an amazing use of Chat GPT that almost nobody ever thinks of. So the power of GPT it's called the large language model. The power of the large language model is it understands, basically it's like super hyper powered predictive text. Whereas your
Okay.
phone can
Yep.
come up with what the next word is going to be,
Sure.
GPT can come up with what the next paragraph is going to be,
Nice.
right?
Yeah.
But if you can train it, then you can have it generate something the way that you want, right?
Mhm. Like a forward to a book,
Like
Puretainment.
a forward to a book. So I told it, I said, I'll tell you exactly how I did it. I took every chapter, I pasted as much of it as I could because only 3.5 was out when I first started doing it. I put as much of it as I could and I said, summarize this into a couple paragraphs, every
Mm.
chapter. And then I took all those summaries and I pasted them all in. And I told it the name of the book was Peertainment, that the author is Matt Rouse, right? And I said, I want you to write the foreword for this book.
Yeah.
And it did. And then I edited it a little, to make it make sense. And it repeated
Mhm.
itself a few times. So I cut out the repetition.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's the foreword to the book written by an AI. And like, it's amazing. I mean, I've never
Yeah.
seen my whole life. I've worked on computers since I was a child. Like,
Yeah.
I've been working on computers for more than 40 years. I've never seen anything as magical as this thing. Right?
As we wind down, and this is not going to stop. Students, high school students, and I was one of those, used to copy right out of the encyclopedias.
That's right.
And then copy and paste off the web. And if they're going to use, they're going to find a way, right? Chat GPT
Yeah.
or any
I mean-
AI, right? Whatever. People will use them poorly, but what I found with and I'm just going to focus on Chat GPT for the moment because it is the one that's in the news. People are talking about it,
Mhm.
and a lot of people are using it because they now have access to it. But in the same way we talked about video cameras being able to, now you can make your own videos, really good audio equipment. You can make your own radio show, your own podcast, right? You can do that today. And AI is the same thing. It's been used for years, but we did not have access to it. Today we have access to it. Web 2.0 was all about user generated content.
Right.
And I know you've talked about Web 3, and Web 3 is really a decentralization
It is.
of content. And how do you see Peertainment following into that flow?
I feel like there's going to be a use of kind of, like a layer 2 technology on top of blockchain, which is, if you're unfamiliar with blockchains, what cryptocurrencies are based off of blockchain.
Mhm.
And the idea of a blockchain is that once the information is on the block, it can't be modified, but anybody can look it up, right? So it's this immutable system.
Right.
And I think what's going to happen is there's probably going to be putting things like TV shows, news footage, political speeches and things like that will be put into some kind of blockchain system.
Mm-hmm.
And then that access will be given to all the different platforms. And that way they'll know the difference between, for a modern example, right? Like happening today, right? As of April 4th, Former U.S. President Trump is supposed to be indicted on 34 counts of whatever. But there's been all these photos and videos that were AI generated going around of him being like dragged by police into, jail, and some of them showed up in newspapers in other countries and stuff. So the only way to stop that is to have some way to test what the original was. And the only way to ensure that the original was the actual original is you need to put it somewhere like the blockchain. So that's a combination of a Web3 technology that can be used to verify against an AI technology.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's lots of other instances, where things like this can be used. Like micropayment in AI is probably going to be a big thing, which is another Web3 technology. But it doesn't necessarily have to be Web3. It can be done through an Interact network or something. And
well, there's lots of opportunities. So PEERTAINMENT, the book, just was available on pre-sale, dropped last night. So it showed up in my Kindle this morning when I got up. And Matt, I know you put a lot of time into writing this at your favorite coffee shop. I was following the track as you were doing this. I encourage people, buy the book and read it if you are a business, if you're a brand. If you are a marketing person, you definitely need to understand PEERTAINMENT and where it's taken you. Matt, how do people get a hold of you in Nova Scotia or wherever you might be? How do people get a hold of you and learn more about PEERTAINMENT?
So you could go to PEERTAINMENT.com, and the website is almost finished. By the time you're watching this, it should be live and ready to go. But we have an AI chatbot on there, which is the holdup because GPT-4 came out and we're trying to get the API access for GPT-4. But you can go and you can try out partnering with AI on the PEERTAINMENT website. And also you could go to MatthewRouse.com if you want me to come speak at your event and talk about all of these PEERTAINMENT entertainment systems and AIs and technology and where it's going.
And you will be our speaker at the virtual Global Tea Break coming up the third Friday of the month. So coming up later this month in April, globalteabreak.com. People can join. It's free, and you can come and interact with Matt live there as well. And so I want to put this back up and we'll sign out. Hang on for a moment and we'll sign off. But I want to remind everybody, PEERTAINMENT is now available, and order it, consume it. That is, read the book and learn what's going on. Apply it to your business. Share it with friends. Be a hero to someone that has a business and has been struggling in getting their message out. I was just talking to a business today that they are trying to figure things out. And I said, get PEERTAINMENT. We talked about the book. I was excited to have Matt on here. But to everybody, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Share the broadcast and buy PEERTAINMENT. It is in the carousel. And with that, everybody have a fabulous day. Cheers.